Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. As we have been discussing in the path of enlightenment and ascension, there are tests that are presented. There are stages of ascension, and there are also tests, which are moments in which every candidate for ascension is presented with certain kind of challenges that they have to somehow manage to overcome to move to the next stage. Some of these tests are easier than others, and three of them are generated by very specific former angelic forces who are testing or resolve on the path of enlightenment. In my new book coming up, Toward the Future Earth, there are chapters that are dedicated to talking about these three various collectives. Short of that, I want to discuss today who they are, how they operate, and how do we overcome their challenge so that we can know how to move forward in our ascension process. The first collective that will show up is Hasatan, or Satan, if you want, which is a being that doesn't, it's not a horned being with a tail and a pitchfork. It's actually a super intelligent force that was created by God at the moment of the inception of the world as a way to help us remove shame and undeservedness. In the Bible, he shows up in the chapter about Job, in the book of Job. He shows up in the first chapter where he is in a meeting in the heaven with all the angels, and God is talking to him like they are the best buddies. And this is where God and him made a bet and a challenge about the nature of Job's righteousness and soul, because God was bragging about how righteous Job was, and he replied and said, but he has never been tested. So God said, okay, do not take his life. Do your worst. And he went, and Job lost everything. Job, who had always been favored by God, which means everything he touched turned into gold. He had the Midas touch. Children, family, livestock, property, house. He lost everything. And because during that test he was able to maintain his faith and never forsake God, he was giving everything back. The way we encounter this energy system, because that's what it is, it's an energy system, is that we meet it at the beginning of our ascension as a test called the dweller on the threshold. It's a customized test. And the way it shows up, it's that it begins to make you feel that the light being that you're trying to elevate into, to become, the ascended being you're trying to become, that you're so far off from it that it accuses you, as it is a final judgment, of being an imposter and a liar, and that you're incapable of actually moving forward. And it comes very strong, and the accusation are so powerful that people break down and cry. Okay? It's a very important test. And the way you overcome this, it's because you have to understand that what the accuser is doing. The other name given to it in Satan is the accuser. He accuses you. It's a partial selected view of all the things you did not do that makes you human, vulnerable, and imperfect. And he accuses you of that imperfection. He levies those things charges against you to make you feel undeserving of ascension. Now, if you believe it, you're going to cower in a corner and not continue the work and give up and say, that's enough, I'm not doing this, which is what he tried to do to Job. But Job passed the test. So the way you get over this, the way you overcome this, is that you have to begin to realize, although the accuser comes in with information, and the thing about it is that when this accusation comes in, they are true. They are things about us that we ourselves know to be true, that we were suppressing in the subconscious mind. And this is what makes it even worse. Okay? And so the way we overcome this is that we begin to realize, wait a minute. Yes, these things are true. I am imperfect. I'm human. I have this flaw, and that or the other. But this is not the totality of who I am. I may have a temper at times. I may be, tend to be a victim at the moment. I may have that or the other. But this is not the totality of who I am. I am also charitable. I am also loyal. I am a great friend. I love God. I have all these other qualities as well. And when you calculate and bring everything together, the charges of the accuser are nothing more but a small fragment of the totality of who I am. And therefore, I am still redeemable. So as it stands, I'm going to ask God for forgiveness. And this is complicated because in the light community, we are told over and over again, at least it's not conscious, but all of us will do the same thing. We tend to follow what feels good. If you're trying to become Christ-like, you emulate whatever Christ does, but you don't start it from the fact that you're incomplete and imperfect. You started to think, I am going to become like God and I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to take this bullet for this person. And you're not looking at yourself from you. There is a bypass of your humanity. You bypass it to step right into ascended and elevated behavior. And it is the bypass that's the problem. And so by you stepping in and actually acknowledging the fact that, wait a minute, I am a human being. I am flawed. I am imperfect. And it's okay if I'm imperfect. And in fact, I'm going to ask for God for forgiveness for all these imperfections, of the fact that I may have a temper at moment. I may be a victim at all the time. I may be slightly catty, etc., etc. And forgive me for all of this. I may have had trauma because of the abuse that I sustained when I was a child. All these things happened to me, but I am still also a work in progress. I have other things that I'm offering, I'm bringing to the table as well, right? Right after that you begin now to forgive yourself, because we are also accusing our own self. The accuser is pointing it out very loud, but we in our core already know that these things are undesirable of the being we're trying to be. So for us to elevate, we need to forgive ourselves too. So you begin to forgive yourself for that. Then right after that self-forgiveness comes acceptance. And beyond the acceptance, it evolves into self-love. And when that happens, the dark crevices where your imperfection and your humanity were becomes the space in which true light begins to shine, because the self-love will illuminate all the crevices, and your ascension will be on solid foundation and solid ground. This is the way you overcome that particular test of the dweller on the threshold. And it's very old a thing. As long as in all the ancient mystery school, they all call it the same thing, the dweller on the threshold. It's at the beginning of ascension that it happened. The second collective that we should be concerned about is the archons. There were actually 200 chief angels that were sent to earth to protect and watch over men. Chief angel and their followers. To be very clear, when we say chief angel and their followers, the followers are an angelic term called choirs. in the demonic realm, the follower of any chief demon or dark principality are called legions. So let's not confuse the nomenclature and call spade a spade. So, and they're choirs. And they were to watch over men when men had just been out of the Garden of Eden. It was at the beginning of everything. In the Bible, they appear in Genesis chapter 5. In chapter 4 was the genealogy, and at which point they were going over all the patriarchs and their ages and all that, and they lived very, very long time, meaning the average one was over 300 years. All of the other ones were extending into 800, 900 or so years. But it happened, and in the Bible, the code for angel, a lot of time when you're reading it, is they call the code is the sons of men. Sorry, the sons of God, the sons of God. And when you see the son of God, you can literally translate it and switch it into angel. It's the same thing. So these angels, at the beginning of chapter 5, we're told that they saw that human female were fair, and they took human form and they made a pact with each other. And the book of Enoch goes into great detail how they did this, who did this, and why. They made a pact to actually take physical shape and copulate with human female. Now, let me explain to you how the angelic race is different from the human race. All angel and archangel are created for a very specific purpose. For example, Archangel Raphael is the cure of God. He heals battle wounds. If you were in a fight, in a battle, etc., he heals those kind of wounds. Michael is he who's like unto God. He heals everything. Gabriel is the strength, the virility, and the fertility of God. Each angel have their own area of expertise, and they are not interchangeable. So if you call Gabriel to fulfill something that Raphael is doing, it's not going to happen. They have a different kind of intelligence from us. They are designed to obey and to fulfill very specific purpose. And they are super, super advanced and super intelligent. We human beings have something unique, and this is what makes us unusual. We have the ability to come up with co-creative ideas and concepts. Unlike the angels and the archangel that are extremely powerful, but that cannot emancipate beyond the scope that they were created for. What these angels did, the archons, or in the book of Enoch, he calls them the watchers, they emancipated out of that scope to do something different than what they were creating for. They were there to watch, to guard, and to protect. They did something else. And when they did this, there was something missing from them in the process of doing this. In all literature that I've read, whether it's the book of Enoch or shamanistic culture or any other writing, ancient writing, these beings are called inorganic beings, meaning they are not, although they took physical form to look like us, something inside of them is missing, and that process of something missing is called simulacrum. It looks like the real thing, but something is not there. They're missing something because they are not real organic. And I want you to understand this because, and the way the Archon work is that it wasn't just the fact that they mixed their physical DNA by copulating with human female and creating offsprings, which were the Nephilim, the giants, like Goliath of the Bible, the men of renown, which were these are offspring that inherited the immortality of the angel. They are physically immortal. And the mighty men, which are men and women that are like Hercules and Samson, that have incredible strength. three classes of beings. In fact, after that chapter 6 of Genesis, God sent Gabriel to tell Noah to prepare an ark because God saw this as a corruption of the genetic path he had created human beings to move along. And that corruption had to be cleansed and purified. The flood was genetic cleansing. Noah and his offsprings were righteous, which means they were not tainted. The entire lineage were not tainted as yet by a physical copulation with these beings. And it wasn't the only sin. Secondary to that, they brought forbidden knowledge. Now, today, this knowledge are common to us, but they brought information at the time that these young, emotionally young human beings did not have the maturity, the moral compass, and the experience to handle. And therefore, it corrupted their ego. It corrupted them and veered their path of evolution. So those are the things that are connected to the archons themselves. Now, the way the archons operate now in the Gnostic Bible, they talk about this in great detail. You don't know that they're there because they are so merged with us in our emotional body. They influence, they whisper because they cannot manifest anything themselves because they're not capable of doing this. But they're attracted to us and to the fact that we can manifest. And therefore, they merge with us, they hide in the shadow, and they're constantly whispering and agitating our emotional body to make us feel that the feelings of us being out of control and screaming and yelling and performing is actually us. It's all us. So when we get excited and we're upset, I am upset, instead of saying, I'm not. When something happened to us, instead of saying, acknowledging the fact that are going on, I'm agitated, something is going on that I'm not happy about, instead of saying, the moment you say, I am angry, I am whatever, you claim it. Even though 10% may be yours, and the rest of the emotional reaction is 90% is not yours. The way you're performing and screaming and yelling, it's not you. It's not you at all. So they work in the shadows. I want to make that part very clear because the next collective we're going to talk about, which is the Demiurge, which is basically Lucifer, does not work in the shadow. His name translates into the bearer of light. He works with inverted light, like mirrors. But the quality of the light is almost exactly, again, simulacrum, exactly like that of God, of the real light. Because the best analogy is to think of a building with a glass wall all across it, and the light of the sun reflects into it, and you're on the other side, and the reflection hits you. If you stand on it for too long, you're going to get a burn. You're going to get a suntan. If you stare at it directly, it will blind your eyes, just like the real light would. The quality and the property of it are nothing but inverted. The left becomes right, the right becomes left, but it is not the real thing. It's inverted light. I want you to be very clear. The Demiurge does not deal like the Archon in shadows and hiding. It is all about illumination. And it becomes the last test before ascendance, because all of us, as we approach true ascendance, as we kept getting more and higher initiation level, we are going to get to a point where we're going to connect with light. We're going to be connected to a sense of illumination, or a sense of being so surrendered and so unburdened, a sense of incredible goodness. And we're going to feel like the ascended masters, or God is talking to us, and we're walking along the path. It's not that these things are not true. but that light that you're seeing is being reflected to a mirror. And here is the key. What does the demiurge do, and what does the demiurge want? The demiurge is seeking your attention. It does not care if you, in other words, the more you get caught up in the story of the reflection and the celestial being or the feelings and that you're almost ascended and you're so illumined, you're so close to being elevated, you're so close to, and then there's always a story of something else that you need to do in order for you to get there. There's always a story. And the more story, the more you have to get there, you have to get there. It's like a dog seeing squirrel, 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 squirrel. Your attention is focused on the reflections and the mirage that the reflection is creating. It's very sensitive and very difficult for a student to pass this test, because I, as an outsider, to say this to you, that the illumination and the connection to God that you feel so strongly, energetically, you can feel it everywhere. For me to tell you it's an inverted light, you're not gonna believe me. Moreover, some of you may even try to fight me and say, what the hell is wrong with you? So we need to understand that what the demiurge want is your attention. As a matter of fact, the way to overcome this test, the way to overcome all of this, is to realize that instead of focusing your attention, it's not that the light is not illumination. It is illumination, but it's partial illumination. It's not complete. It's missing something. It's simulacrum. This is why I'm asking you to do the torsion field 3 times a day. Because if you're doing it, even if you do one is a long version, the other one is just 5 minutes, do it, because by you doing this process, you're now going to focus your attention in a process that will allow you to become intoxicated with an expansion of consciousness rather than linear light, where the illumination comes from a higher being that's actually projected down onto you. When you get into dharmata, the essence of being, you actually are inside the light. You dissolve into it. You get inside of it. It's not directed. And that's the difference. And the reason I am insisting that we do the torsion field 3 times a day, it's for the following. And it's really, particularly if you drive, it's very simple. Now it's winter. When you turn on your key to your car, the ignition in your car, the car has to warm up. Sit in the car for 5 minutes. Close your eyes and do the torsion field. And then start driving. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is that the torsion field, when you practice it, the core and the essence of it create a height. The first torsion field exit on top of the 4th dimensional chakra system. The next one, 5th dimensional chakra system, 6th dimensional chakra system. So you're getting taller and more elevated every time. But it's not just the core that's happening. When the first torsion field gets created, become aware and ask yourself, when it gets created, how far does the torsion field geographically extends for me? Does it goes into my neighbor's apartment or my neighbor's house? Does it extend? How far does it go? When the second one comes in, it gets bigger because they're nested. It goes on top of the first one. What is the second one? How far does it go? as you keep doing this all the way to the 12th guardian, you're getting a practice of walking away from a singularity, a fixed point in time and space, into an energetic experience of an expansion of consciousness that take you from being ego singularity into multiplicity, trying to sense myself in a volume, in a neutral volume. And by the time you do this long enough time, you're going to get into the very end of the torsion field, and you're going to sense you're in an altered state. And the altered state is going to be strange because you're no longer a singularity, you're now a plurality. And that plurality, that collective awareness that you have right now, where you exist in a lot of places at the same time, particularly when the field begins to grow. Let the field show up where it wants to show up. Initially, it may be close to you. It's going to grow and get bigger and bigger. And at some point, it's going to be maybe encompass the whole planet, go into the solar system. It's going to get bigger and bigger. And as it gets bigger, your awareness of where you are and what you are is going to alter. The reason we're doing this is because all of you are traveling into that, into the true light all the time. But when you go there during your meditation practice, you pass out and you think you fell asleep. You go there as unconscious tendency floating in emptiness. The practice of the torsion field, step by step, fourth dimension, five dimension, the dimension that's the closest to us, fifth, 6, 7, 8. As we do this, it helps us acclimate from being singularity, point in time and space, to being now in 4D, where I am now more expanded. I am allowing other things to come into my field, other dimension and the perception to come. Then 50, more stuff is coming in 60, until I can get completely into the white space and the volume where infinity times infinity exists. Gradually, progressively, as I do this practice of the torsion field, I am getting myself acclimated to the process of going into that big volume where I am now inside the light. The light is not directed at me. I'm not the small guy with the light on top of me, but I am now inside of it. I've dissolved in it. Any questions in the comments? Okay. So we need to understand that as we do this practice, the way for me to describe what that space is like is as follows. It feels like you're inside, you don't have a body. You're very aware that you exist. And it's going to feel initially, it's very disorienting because you're existing now as a plurality, which means you don't have an awareness of one thing, a singularity. You still know that you exist, but you're inside this immensity. You're in it. You're not outside and it's facing you. You're in it. It's all around you. There is no up, there is no down. It's like you're floating into this immensity. And the other thing also that becomes very clear, you feel completely at rest and there are no thoughts. Meaning the list of what to do, correct, repair, all of the things that we need, all of that is just gone, washed out. And as you remain in that volume, it took me a long time to orient myself to try to figure out what that volume, and I'm still learning. Because when you enter that realm, it's just the beginning of the journey. It's the true beginning of the journey. Because there are higher and deeper level that goes into it. But when you remain in it also brings to you, because it's not, although it feels like it's empty, it's not exactly emptiness. The best description is rest and stillness. Rest and stillness. And the way I bring this to my I bring myself into it is that I do the complete torsion feeling. When I'm done, I ask, because a lot of time when you're finished and you're done, you know this in your core, but you don't really verbalize it. It feels like there's something else that's beyond a veil that you can't see or you can't experience. There's something there that wants to emerge that hasn't shown up yet. So when you're done with the torsion field, I'm asking you to ask the following: what am I not seeing? What am I not perceiving? What am I not feeling? What am I not hearing? For me, the hearing was the key. Because the moment I did this, I began to notice that I became so still and so aware of sounds around me that I felt that the more than 100 trillion cells in my body had ears. And I was listening with my entire consciousness. Because at that point, I'm not even thinking about my soul, because I'm floating in this space. I'm listening with everything that I've got. And I began to notice weird things. If there's a bird chirping on the outside, I hear the sound. If I'm in the city and I'm listening to the elevator door opening, the dog barking in the neighbor's apartment, the siren. And as I'm listening to all of this, there comes a point where I am now listening to the actual stillness. First of all, there was a hissing sound, like a background sound of a hiss. And then at some point, I am listening to the actual stillness itself. And as I'm listening to that stillness, I begin to pay attention, and I'm focusing. All of a sudden, I find myself in that space. I'm inside this volume. I just fall right into it. In other words, by me paying attention to what am I hearing, what am I doing? I am paying attention, the same attention that I would focus on the Demiurge. I am focusing it now in what exists beyond the veil of where the Demiurge exists. I don't play music when I'm doing this. I am in silence by myself. If you see me in my apartment and there was a camera, people would think that I'm crazy, because I'm such a recluse. A lot of time I sit in silence. I just sit quietly, and I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on around me by being in the still, quiet place that's within me, instead of focusing on external squirrel and things that are going around me by saying squirrel, and getting distracted. And there's enough going on in the world. There's enough chaos, mass media, enough political and social and weather phenomena that are so weird and so unusual. There's enough, and all of them orchestrated by these three beings working together. But understand the other side of it. They are doing all of us a service. They are our greatest teacher. Because without them, we will not be able to achieve true ascension. It would be ascension light. it would be a connection to the mirrored world, to the world of the Demiurge. It will still be light, but it will not be the authentic light. So the idea is to learn how to emancipate and grow and expand into whatever it is that is beyond that veil. There's something we're not seeing, there's something we're not perceiving, there's something we're not hearing. What am I not seeing? What am I not perceiving? And as you open yourself up and you stay quiet and you focus your attention 3 times a day on those things, the veil is going to crack open and you're going to see beyond it. You're going to step right into it. This is how you do it. I don't want you to think that the experience of illumination and guidance from the masters and the ease and the liberation that you feel are wrong. They are not wrong. They are just a Zer Hapin of the true light. They are a little face of God. That's what they are. That's what the Demiurge is. It's a little face of God. It's a lesser version of the real deal. Any questions, any comments? So as we begin to elevate, we're going to have to spend more time in contemplation and meditation to try to find that place where the true light, we can dissolve inside the true light. And that true light is not outside of us. It's everywhere. We're in it. We're just not perceiving it because we're focusing on the mirror or on the Zer Hapin. There's nothing that's not in it because it's everywhere. Another characteristic of it is that I've been trying to describe it to you, is that it actually feels like you're inside a fog, but except you're not standing on anything. You're just floating. And when I'm paying attention to the hearing part, what am I not hearing? And I'm paying attention to the hearing and the hearing. And then there is a point where my hearing, as I'm thinking, every cell in my body have ears and I'm listening everywhere. All of a sudden, I begin to sense that the stillness that I hear, the hissing sound, the kind of like static noise, it begins to yield. I'm listening to the stillness itself. And as I continue to lean into it and literally pay attention to it, it shifts into an awareness of being inside this immensity, this immense volume. And at that moment, you are beginning to move into conscious immortality, which is you're transiting between different higher state of awareness while you're being conscious. Do not discount the other experiences you're having with the light. They are as valid, but they are Zer Hapin. Understand them as such. They are valid. I don't want you to think, oh, it's inverted light, it's a false light, and therefore I should reject it. Do not do this to yourself because you will not win that battle. You're going to block your entire ascension. Accept it, yield into it, be grateful for it, but be grateful also for the challenges. I was talking to a client just this week, a few days back, about the fact that she was a medium at some point. She was connected to the world of spirit, and she shut it down after she realized she was connecting to fourth dimensional beings, which is filled with all kinds of stuff and demons and all kinds of other stuff. So she shut it down. And then she began to work very hard on ascension. She's been a client for a long time. And of late, she's beginning to also sense that in her field, there were all these other presences. Somebody standing behind me here, somebody standing behind me there, on my side there, somebody. And I had to say to her, and they seem to have negative intention. She doesn't know who they are. And as she's focusing on them and what their purpose is, and this is somebody I may have known in a past life, and there's a story with every one of them, and this is squirrels. They're all squirrels. It's a story after a story after a story. We need to focus on what's essential and what's key. The time is short. Focus on the torsion field. Listen to very carefully what I'm telling you. Focus on the torsion field and how each one of them is getting created. The core and the filaments. How big is it geographically from where I'm standing? As you do this, you're going to acclimate yourself to, there is, each one of them bring a different expansion of awareness. And that expansion of awareness is going to train your energetic body to move out of singularity into plurality without passing out. And when the moment arrives where you will get into that realm, it will be just like, initially, because I thought it was a mistake. I didn't know where I was because I was not seeking. This is the point. I was not seeking it. I just kind of fell into it. It just appeared. What I was looking at, what I was really, my attention was focused on was my hearing with every cell in my body. Because I kept on repeating, I'm going to listen with every cell in my body. And as I'm listening, and I'm like, oh, there's a stillness, I feel at rest, I feel surrendered, I was feeling the emotion before I actually walk into the space. I feel I'm completely at rest, and then the next thing you know, I'm inside this volume. I felt everything first. I hope this is helpful. I hope you're able to get closer to what I'm trying to describe, because it's not linear. It's an expanded state. But I felt these things first. Now, a lot of times I don't need to be in deep meditation to go in that space. And that's the part that's the greatest part about doing the torsion field and being connected to a guardian alliance of light, is that once I have done it, is as I'm doing it, my practice 3 times a day. I have to do it one more time before I go to bed. As I'm doing it every day, what happened is that my dream changed. Everything in my dream changed. My daily life changes. There are times when I'm walking. Let's say I'm walking to go toward the park. As I'm walking, I do it as a walking meditation, a contemplation. I'm walking and I'm first guardian. I call upon the first guardian, counter rotating, moving through the bottom of my feet, extending, and I'm like, with my eyes open, let me feel energetically how big it is with my clairsentient ability. How far does this go? and what kind of blessing this neutrality brings me. Then the second guardian, the field extends above me, coming down clockwise, passing through my core, going to the bottom of my feet and the core of the earth, closing up on top of the first one. What kind of expansion and how far does it extend? When I'm doing it like this, when I'm walking, it doesn't even take 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes at the most. You can do it in the bus, you can do it in the train, you can do it while walking. I don't recommend you do it while driving at all. Park the car and do it. It's not going to take you long. And then what happened is that that field knows what you need before you even articulate it. Sometimes I go in and then something flashes over my consciousness because that field is not a nihilistic void. It's not real emptiness. It's the essence of all things, and everything is fluidic. And a lot of time I sit in there and I have a specific situation that needs resolution that shows up in the field that I wasn't even thinking about. It just shows up. And then I sense multiple fluid energies floating that I don't completely understand, floating about me. And without me knowing which one is good for me, this is why sometimes in the guided meditation, I talk about the endless solution set. It's that it's not only one way to solve the particular situation that you're in. Let's say you're looking for a job, or you're trying to heal your health, or whatever the challenge may be in front of you. There's not only one way to solve the problem. There are myriads of ways. There's an infinite number of solution sets. But the field is so intelligent. This is why you don't control it. You just remain in it, dissolve as part of it. It knows, and before you know it, the scalar invert, the exact nullifying frequency, the frequency that will cancel your lack, and the perfect one to cancel it will come and will collapse and will come into you. You and I are not intelligent enough to micromanage infinity times infinity. It is too bright and too intelligent and way more superior than us. So when you remain quiet and you remain in it, it has a way of bringing to you what you need. It knows it. And then the next thing you know, it just drops on top of you. It arrives and it lands on top of you. And you can feel it anchoring in. And then at that moment, you may have an insight, or the part of you that was tense, that was in pain, just opens up. But you know there were all this myriad of other stuff that was swirling about you. There was an endless way of solving your particular conundrum. And the perfect cancellation gets installed. So when you are working on your ascension and your elevation, particularly when you get into that space, it has all these kind of benefits. There are times I go in there, and the people in my care, there are times I go in there, I'm just enjoying the free air, the liberation. And all of a sudden, I hear messages for other people. Tell so-and-so and I don't even know if the person is in trouble or not in trouble. I call them and I respond to them and I tell them this is what I perceive, this is what I all of a sudden, oh my God, I thank you. I had this situation. And just the other day I had a dream about a client. Again, I do the torsion fee before I go to sleep at night. And this whole thing with her father that was just deceased, and I saw this whole thing, and it was and the message I received is confirmation, because this woman had just done a tarot reading the day before, and they were telling you all these things. I dreamed of it that night. She was the last person in my mind. Trust me. Therefore, you're going to know, see, and perceive things because you're neutral and your field gets so big and so wide that the people that are in your care are going to be overlit by you, because the only way the Guardian Alliance of Light can manifest and connect to this earth is through us. We are the final bead on the necklace to connect in the 3D world. Without us, they cannot completely ground. You're going to be aware of things, and you need to be kind, loving, and accepting. You're going to sense things, feel things, and people will look up to you because of this. Moreover, as you keep doing this around your home, you're going to create a portal, because the torsion field in all this dimensional time and space is an ascending and descending portal. And therefore, celestial hosts and beings of all kinds will seek that doorway and will come in and out through that passage.
Question, Pierre.
Yes.
Are the guardians in each of the dimensions stable? Do they change? In the recent, I ask a question is sometimes it feels as though, I don't know how to say this, um, I pause more on some uh, certain levels than others, and it's not always consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Are they always the same beings in the group, or maybe I don't know what could cause that otherwise?
Well, I don't know if they are the same being, because it's a gigantic and immense collective.
Uh,
It's an act of love and generosity. When they're coming in, you don't know who's coming in, right? So that could be one answer to it. And the other way to respond to this is that it could be coming from you. It's your relationship to that dimension.
oh,
The part of you that exists in that dimension is doing some other things.
oh.
There is another Janus in 60 or in 80 or 90 that may be smoking a cigarette. What's his name? Je fume. and the guardian also went to train you and said, "Come on now, let's get along. We okay, stop smelling the roses. Let's go. Let's do this."
I wondered if it could be that there is something, I don't want to say special, but something more that they're offering in that time that I'm paused there.
Yes, and a lot of time you're right. A lot of time you pause in that particular realm. It's because, and this is why I'm saying that stuff is dynamic. Sometimes, let's say one day I could see myself extending all the way to the solar system. Other days, I just can extend to a few states, and that's all. and do not judge it because it's very fluidic. It's like breathing. There are times you take deep breath, there are times you take shallow breath. It's okay. This is the way it is because that field that you're trying to expand into is very fluid. It contracts, it expands. It's like a lava lamp. And so if at time it feels like you go into this very specific guardian and the torsion field is created and it feels like it's taking longer, I'm sitting there and enjoying it. All you need to do is be a witness to it and just say to yourself, let me take the hairpins out. I'm here for a while. let, let me just relax till the hair clip out. I'm just gonna be here for a while and enjoy it. And part of it also is that when you're in that realm, you need more healing in that way, in that feel, the very specific frequency of neutrality that's coming in that 8th dimension. Your body needs more of that energy at the moment.
Oh.
The field is more intelligent. Let it give it to you. Just absorb it and take it in.
The way I experience it, the torsion field as it rotates um, and moves upward or downward, as the case may be, it does not complete right away. It pauses. It feels like it's in a bit of a loop of a certain sort midway through the
Mhm.
through the journey from one end to the other. So I just let it pause until it feels like it's,
It's moving again.
yeah, and sometimes I'm not sure if it's just me or
No, 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 no. It's all good because it's trying to heal you and repair things in you. And sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes I have to take 2 breaths or 3 breaths to let everything complete.
when we do the torsion field with the meditation, the recording,
Yes,
um, I'm not doing the breath then.
that's fine. That's fine.
So, oh, okay.
That's fine. That's fine. What I'm saying is that okay, when I'm doing the torsion field right now, I don't listen to my own recording. Okay, I'm at a point right now because I know all the step and all the words and the whole routine. I don't necessarily listen to it. Particularly if I'm walking or if I'm doing something else, of course, I'm not going to listen to it. I actually sit down and I think of all the steps and I let my body complete it when it wants to complete it. You see what I'm saying? I stand in silence. I don't even play music. I stand in silence and I let it be completed. And when that happens, it takes whatever time it takes.
Right, right. I do as well at times without the recording and not the fast version, but
Yes,
because I know the routine pretty well, um, I it goes through my mind. I don't speak it out
yes,
loud,
yes, yes.
but um, it doesn't. When I do to the recording, it happens automatically. Then sort of. But when I do it without the recording, I kind of like it that way because then it can take its own time.
Yes. Yes, yes, and this is where the real, the true, the proper growth occurs. If you can do it every 2 days or 3 days like that, it's actually better for you, at least
Okay.
one time, because the
Okay.
true growth actually occurs during that time. Because
Okay.
you get so intimate and acclimated with the torsion field, and there are times when I remember one time it was the 9th dimension or the ninth guardian. It was just every time I got there, it's like uh, other thoughts fly into my mind, like some disruption happened. All of a sudden, I'm like, where am I? I'm lost. And a lot of time, I think I'm lost. And sometimes I even ask some of you, and I'm guiding you, and I'm like, which guardian am I in?
I know. I know.
Well, I count with my hands. That's the
Yeah.
first thing. You need to count with your hands because you're gonna again because you're extending into a different state of awareness. The counting is coming from the frontal lobe. It's where the ego, the I, and the chooser is linearity. When you're expanded by the ninth guardian, you're no longer linear. If you're not counting with you're not, there are times where I literally myself doing the meditation with you, I pass out. I blank. I go into the field.
Mm.
For a moment, I just blank. That's why I don't remember. And that's why I close my hand so that I know where I am.
And and the demiurge is not infiltrating this torsion field process, right? So that we're not seeing an inverted image, sort of a mirror image there.
Infiltrating is the wrong word. It's not, you're not giving your attention to the demiurge. It's you that's not giving you're not following squirrel. What you're following is the torsion field.
Okay, but that's not an illusion.
It's not an illusion, it's not the demiurge, because you're trying to listen and be aware of what exists beyond the veil, beyond the illusion. Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm not sure that I understand the difference
Yes. Okay.
between what I feel when I connect to creator that could be mirror, inverted image, but I'm not sure I understand what the difference feels like.
Okay. So when you connect with creator and all that and you feel this good thing, it's still reflected light. It's a Zer Hapin. When you're connecting to you're doing the torsion field, what you're saying, what you're doing with the torsion field is that you're beginning to sense yourself in a different relationship with volume of light that's around you. It is not the same thing.
Would you say that again? I somehow lost focus when you were talking.
Okay, you're connecting to volumes of light that's around you. It's an energetic awareness. It's more being clairsentient than anything else.
Okay.
Because it's all around you. So when you're becoming aware, as each time one rotates this way, the other one rotating the other way, you're becoming aware of of a relationship that you, the chooser, the singularity, is having with these expanded awareness that are building around you, right on top of you. And as you do this, you're no longer focused on any kind of story about a superior being taking you over. You're actually ascending to be merged into that being. It's not the same thing.
Okay. So the process is the important part then.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay. Thank you.
yes. You're welcome. I want to mention before we close, we pause for a meditation. I want to. So Lord Melchizedek, I don't want you to think Lord Melchizedek and the teaching of Melchizedek is out of this loop, because they are part of it. The guardian lights of light, all part of the Melchizedek order. They are the torsion field is actually becomes the celestial axis itself, or at least part of the celestial axis itself. And the word Melchizedek is mentioned at three different places in the Bible: in Genesis, in Psalm, and in Hebrew. I'm going to read you the first paragraph in Hebrew, chapter 7, the first paragraph of it, as a way to have a short conversation with you about Melchizedek and the nature of being a Melchizedek. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him. And to him Abraham appropriated a tenth part of everything. He is first, by translation, of his name, King of Righteousness. And then he is also King of Salem, that is the King of Peace. He is without father, mother, or genealogy. He has neither beginning of days nor end of life, but resembling the Son of God, he continued a priest forever. So in this passage, we are being told that, of course, uh, um, Abraham, in the original part of Genesis, when Melchizedek shows up first, Abraham had a part of his family was taken by this other king that were battling. These kings were having battle with each other. Abraham took the strongest men that were with in his party. He went and rescued these people, brought them back, and slaughtered the king. When he came back, Melchizedek, who is the king of Salem, Salem meaning peace, whose name Melchizedek means the king of righteousness, blessed him, anointed him. And when the blessing was done, and for him to have received the blessing from him, it means that he regarded this man as being his superior. Moreover, he gave this guy 1/10 of everything he had, which is a symbol of you tithing because you recognize the superior nature of this individual that's in your vicinity. Then it's mentioned that Melchizedek has no mother, no father, has no beginning and no end, and remain a priest forever. So as we are doing this process of being a singularity, focus in time, going into a plurality of experience, we need to become non-attached to everything. And the non-attachment to everything will take us into a place where our own family history, our own lineage, the people and the family that we are connected to, we will become non-attached to them. The torsion field doesn't have direction, north, south, east, west. It doesn't have, it's non-directional because it's outside of time and space. It doesn't have I know people who do healing where you have to face the east, you have to do this, you have to do that for the healing to actually work. You have to pray to this guy to the east, the angel to the west, and there's no such thing in the torsion field. The torsion field, as long as it is created and neutrality is created around you, you're disconnected to time and space, you enter that blessed field, it's done. It's done. You just have to get to the station. Once you get to the station, it's done. Therefore, when you are in the torsion field, there is no mother, no father, no beginning. The epigenetic and all that stuff is not relevant. The influence of the planet and the star, when you're truly inside the torsion field, Mercury retrograde, any of that stuff will not touch you because you're completely outside of that realm. You're inside something else. This is why it's so critical for us to practice this and get together as a group, elevated to that level, because there's so much chaos in the world. And together, as we overlap field to field, shoulder to shoulder, we can begin to shepherd or guide humanity into finding the safe passage. Otherwise, people are going to get lost with more squirrel, more story, and get lost and be completely ungrounded and running around chasing things. When in fact, being in the torsion field is enough and all of that will just drop. This is why when you're in that field, everything drops. It's complete rest. And because there is no time and space, sometimes I sit in there and I think I'm there for 10 minutes and I'm there for 3 hours without knowing it. I remember one time being I sat in the torsion field. There was light out. The next thing you know, I'm like, I'm looking at the clock. It's 7 o'clock. The light is already down. How did I spend 3 hours? I don't understand what happened. It felt like I was there for 10, 15 minutes. And because the torsion field is super intelligent, it will protect it. That's why I'm saying everywhere you go, card, a plane, a bus, every time I enter a vehicle, whether people around me know it or not, I close my eyes, I do the torsion field. Because there are too many crazy things that are happening in the world right now. I don't want to be sideswiped by anything. So be aware of this. And when Melchizedek, when in that passage you talk about every cell in your body, and this is the beauty of this. When you go deep into this, every cell in your body will end up having the 100 trillion cells in your body will end up having a torsion field around them. And therefore you will become Melchizedek itself. Because you will have no lineage, no beginning, no end, and you will be righteous forever. You will be the king of righteousness forever, the priest and the priestess of righteousness forever. Any other questions or comments?
Pierre, I thank you so much. This is every time you explain this to me, I feel it. I get it clearer and clearer. So, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Bobby. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. Mm.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. Let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll do the closing meditation. I mean, Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. And notice what you notice. And the guardian alliance of light approach me, offering to gift me their shields and light and protection and a band of neutrality. If you are ready to accept this gift at this time, answer affirmatively. And let the energy of the first guardian begin in the core of the earth, counter-rotating, passing through the bottom of your feet, moving through you, exiting outside of your head and going into the top of the fourth dimensional body and creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. Teach me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the top of your head extends and it attracts now the energy of the second guardian, coming in, rotating clockwise at the top of the fifth dimensional body, passing through your core, exiting at the bottom of your feet, and going into the core of the earth, while creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. Teach me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the third guardian, counter-rotating, moving from the core of the earth, passing through the bottom of my feet, exiting outside of my head, and going to the top of the sixth dimensional body and creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the top of my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the fourth guardian, rotating clockwise, coming in at the top of the seventh dimensional body, passing through my core, dropping into the bottom of my feet and into the core of the earth, and creating all around me the torsion field of neutrality. Teach me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the fifth guardian, coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving through the bottom of my feet, upward to my core, exiting outside of my head, and into the top of the eighth dimensional body, while creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. Teach me the neutrality and the rest that you know. The axis at the top of your head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 6th guardian. Rotating clockwise, coming in at the top of the 8th dimensional body, passing through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth while creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the top, at the bottom of your feet extend and it attracts now the energy of the 7th guardian, counter rotating, moving through the bottom of your feet, passing through your core, exiting outside of your head, and going into the top of the 9th dimensional body while creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the top of your head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 8th guardian, cascading down from source and going into the top of the 11th dimensional body, passing through you, exiting at the bottom of your feet, and creating in the core of the earth a torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the bottom of your feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the 9th guardian, counter rotating, coming from the core of the earth, passing through the bottom of your feet, moving through your core, exiting outside of your head, and into the top of the 12th dimensional body, and creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the top of your head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 10th guardian, rotating clockwise, passing through the top of your head and the top of the 13th dimensional body, moving through your central axis, exiting at the bottom of your feet, going into the core of the earth, and creating all around you a total field of neutrality. The axis at the bottom of your feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the 11th guardian, counter-rotating, coming in from the core of the earth, passing through the bottom of your feet, moving through your core, exiting outside of your head and the top of the 14th dimensional body, and creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the top of your head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 12th and final guardian, coming in from source and the top of the 15th dimensional body, rotating clockwise, passing through your central axis, dropping into the bottom of your feet and going into the core of the earth while creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. What am I not seeing? What am I not perceiving? What am I not hearing? Thank you for the blessings. I accept the gifts and I receive with gratitude. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you.
You're welcome, Janice. You're welcome. One more thing I want to add to you. When you are connecting to your creator and whatever that feeling and that sensation is, what we're trying to get to exists beyond that experience. That's what you're trying to get. You're focusing your attention to. It exists beyond that.
Oh, okay. Good.
Okay? All right, I want to thank you all for listening to me. Thank you for all of you on Patreon for your support. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you next week. Blessings, everyone. Love you so much.
Not next week, right?
No, not next week. Next week is Thanksgiving. The week after, 2 weeks. That's
Okay.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Love you all.
Bye.